welcome to the deep dive. Have you ever thought about the influence people have on you and, well, where your own choices really begin?
That's a huge question.
Yeah, and today we're diving into a story that really highlights this King Joash from 2 Chronicles 24. He reigned 40 years, which is a long time.
A very long time. And it starts surprisingly positive, actually. He's focused on this big mission, fixing up the temple.
Right, the house of the Lord. The text says he did what was right in God's sight.
But there's a qualifier, isn't there?
Exactly. All the days of Jehoiada the priest. That guidance was clearly crucial early on.
Absolutely. Jehoiada wasn't just a spiritual guide. The text implies he was deeply involved, even in Joash's personal life, like finding him wives.
So Joash gets this temple repair project going. He's proactive, tells the priests and Levites to gather the money.
And initially, they're a bit slow, aren't they?
They are. So Joash has to sort of push them again. He sets up this chest outside the temple gate for collecting the funds directly.
And that worked. People responded generously, brought the money with joy, apparently.
Yeah, enough to hire masons, carpenters, metal workers.
Yeah.
They didn't just patch it up, they properly restored and fortified the temple.
It shows what can happen when leadership and popular support align for a good cause. They even used the leftover silver and gold for temple vessels.
A really positive start. It shows the power of good mentorship, good influence. Jehoiada's impact is undeniable.
For sure. But it also sets up this underlying question. Was this Joash's conviction, or was he just following Jehoiada's lead?
And we find out, don't we? Because Jehoiada lived a very long life, honored, but eventually he dies.
And that's the pivot. The exact moment things change. Jehoiada is buried with honor, among the kings even.
Which says a lot about his standing. But then?
Then the officials, the princes of Judah, they come to Joash, and it says the king listened to them.
And what do they advise?
Well, the result was immediate. They abandoned the temple, the god of their fathers, and started serving Asherah poles and idols. It's a complete U-turn.
Wow, just like that. After all that work on the temple.
Just like that. It suggests the foundation wasn't as deep in Joash himself. God's anger is kindled, but he doesn't give up immediately.
Right, he sends prophets, gives them chances to turn back.
But they wouldn't listen. They refused the warning. And this is, a recurring theme we see again and again, ignoring the messengers.
And it leads to something truly shocking. Jehoiada's own son, Zechariah, steps up.
Yeah, filled with the Spirit, stands above the people in the temple court, no less, and confronts them. He asks why they're transgressing, saying they won't prosper because they've forsaken the Lord.
A direct, courageous message.
Yeah.
And Joash's reaction.
It's horrifying, really. Instead of listening, Joash conspires against him. He commands them to stone Zechariah.
Stone him. Jehoiada's son. The son of the man who basically saved his life and mentored him.
Yes. In the very courtyard of the temple that Jehoiada had helped him restore. The text explicitly notes Joash's ingratitude. He did not remember the kindness Jehoiada, his father, had shown him.
That's chilling. Talk about betrayal. Shows a complete breakdown of character, of loyalty, of basic decency.
Absolutely. And the consequences aren't just spiritual, they're immediate and political. Within the year, the Syrian army attacks.
And weren't they like a small force?
A very small force, the text emphasizes. But they defeated Judah's massive army. Why? Because, as the scripture says, Judah had forsaken the Lord, judgment executed against Joash.
So, defeat, plunder, and what about Joash himself?
He's left severely wounded. And then his own servants turn against him.
Why his servants?
The text connects it directly. Because of the blood of the sons of Jehoiada the priest, they assassinate him on his bed.
A violent end, mirroring the violence he ordered against Zechariah.
And even in death, there's dishonor. He's buried in the city of David, but not in the tombs of the kings, unlike Jehoiada.
Wow. What a story. Starts so promisingly, ends in such disaster and disgrace. So what do we take away from this today?
Well, the first thing, and it's maybe the most obvious, is the need for a truly personal faith. Mentors are vital, community is vital, but your connection with God has to be your own.
Right. It can't just be borrowed. You can't ride on someone else's coattails forever. Eventually, you have to stand on your own 2 feet, spiritually speaking.
Exactly. And linked to that is integrity. Especially if you're in any position of influence, even just within your family or circle of friends. Joash's hypocrisy, his betrayal, it's a stark warning.
That ingratitude towards Jehoiada's family is just, it really stands out as a failure of basic character.
It does. And then there's the matter of listening. God sent warnings through prophets. We might receive guidance through scripture, through wise friends, maybe that inner sense of conviction.
Are we listening?
Yeah,
Or are we like Joash, shutting our ears because the message is uncomfortable or inconvenient? Ignoring those nudges usually doesn't end well.
definitely not. Another point is about investment. Joash initially invested heavily in the temple, the physical house of God. For us, that translates to investing in our spiritual lives, the church community.
Our time, our talents, our resources, putting them towards things that have lasting eternal value, not just temporary gain or appeasing the wrong influences.
And finally, maybe the biggest lesson is about finishing well. A good start is great, but it's not the whole story. Jehoiada finished strong, honored. Joash crashed and burned.
Yes, sustained faithfulness, humility, sticking with it even when the original mentors or supports aren't there anymore. That's what builds a lasting legacy.
And understanding this story, this cause and effect between choices and consequences, it really should encourage us towards obedience, towards nurturing a faith that doesn't just start well, but endures. It strengthens our resolve to follow God's ways.
It truly does. So as we wrap up, maybe something for you listening to consider. Reflecting on Joash's reign, are there areas in your life where you might be relying too heavily on someone else's faith rather than actively cultivating your own enduring connection with God?